Hello everyone, my greetings to one and all. I am Poonam Vohra from Equipped Economics Learning Center. From now onwards, the discussion will be on Indian economic development and its first unit, that is development experience of India since 1950. One needs to understand economic changes over time, and one can account for changes in the circumstances in which humans lived. One can understand the issues such as why India experienced declining economic growth. What were the reasons for economic reforms in the country? Why economic inequalities still persist? Why is there structural change or occupational change or demographic change, and the way organizations shaped economic performance? One can investigate patterns and outcomes of the events in the past, and they enable to answer questions about current economic development or crisis. On the eve of independence, Indian economy was in a very bad shape. It was subjected to targeted exploitation of all the sectors by British government with the aim of economic dominance. British pursued their interest, imposed practices to benefit from India's people and resources. In this background, let's try to understand the state of India's development: agriculture, industry, foreign trade, demographic condition, occupational structure, and infrastructure on the eve of independence. Since the early days of independence, economic policy was based on controls, restrictions, quotas, permits, licenses, subsidies, tax concessions, and so on. So the economic enterprises, investment, currency, commodity market, capital market, trade, everything was protected by government. These aspects comprise the first part of this unit. So you will learn state of Indian economy on the eve of independence, thereafter economic planning in India, and features, problems, and policies adopted in various sectors, that is agriculture, industry, foreign trade specifically. Then the economic reforms were initiated in the year 1991, which intends the policy shift of government from state domination to declining role of state and expanding role of private sector in the economy. These reforms were rooted in the field of industry, trade, investment, and later to agricultural sector. Demonetization was adopted. Also goods and services tax came into existence. These aspects comprise of the second part of this unit under the title Economic Reforms since 1991. The learners may wonder, what is the need to know the past economic status of the country? What is the need to know the impact of British rule on the country's economic performance? Yes, it is very relevant. It is relevant simply because today India has emerged as the fastest growing major economy in the world and is expected to be one of the top 3 economic powers in the world over the next 10 to 15 years. So one must understand how has the country built up over the years to reach at this stage. Not only that, the country is attracting many global majors for strategic investment on account of various government initiatives like Make in India, Digital India, Skill India, It is so because of huge population of the country, where majority of the population is youth population, which is the major driver for consumption demand in the country, and it is an ample source of manpower. So one must understand what has led to this state of economy, where the country has become one of the major drivers of economic growth. Huge population of the country has made India as the third largest consumer of the world, implying a major shift in consumer behavior and expenditure pattern. It has been estimated that India is going to surpass USA to become the second largest economy in terms of purchasing power parity by 2040. So one must understand the developmental changes over the period that has brought the nation to this state of affairs. So one must know its economic past. In this entire unit, the learner will comprehend and assess the economic status of the country at the time of independence, will analyze the problems faced and the policies adopted by the government so far as agriculture, industry and tertiary sectors are concerned. The learner will also comprehend and analyze the economic reforms initiated by the government, and then appraise the performance of each sector, keeping in view the long-term objectives of planning in India. The learner will also point out the purpose of demonetization in the country, and finally evaluate the implementation of goods and services tax in India. So this unit of development experience since 1950 comprises of India on the eve of independence, long-term objectives of planning in India, features, problems and policies of agricultural, industrial and foreign trade sector, economic reforms initiated since 1991, demonetization in India, and finally adoption of goods and services tax. All these concepts need to be studied, for which reading material will be provided. 34 explanation videos will be provided, which will comprise of all these aspects. PowerPoint presentations will be there for quick revision. Case studies will also be there to deepen the understanding, and finally self-assessment assignments will be provided, which will comprise of foundational as well as competency-based questions, where foundational questions are direct questions, which may be multiple choice questions, one sentence answer, short answer or long answer type. So far as competency-based questions are concerned, these comprise of assertion reasoning based, statement based, case based, diagrammatic, presentation based, current affairs based, short answers as well as long answer questions. You are required to attempt all the questions as given in the assignments. You will have a fair idea about each concept that is being covered in this topic. And for this particular branch of economics, that is Indian economic development, it is very, very important to keep yourself updated. That will enable you to answer your questions very well, as the purpose is not only to score well in your exams but also to have foundational knowledge to face challenging questions even in the exams beyond your board examination. I hope you have understood What are you expected to learn in this particular unit? How are you going to learn? How much practice you require, that you need to decide. So keep learning and keep practicing. All the best to you. Thank you.